US anti-racism activists have pledged to disrupt reform meetings for the foreseeable future, which I suppose is what they're intended for, isn't it, really?
Well, Farage and Reform face sustained protests from anti-racism activists. Now, this is quite remarkable because in Nigel Farage's constituency of Clacton, they have already interrupted and disrupted his first press conference.
Yes.
And at the same time, they see themselves as victims of allegations of racism. I mean, they haven't provided any evidence for that, but they have taken responsibility for disrupting his press conference. Stand Up for Racism is the name of this activist group, and they have threatened to be alert and to go to future manifestations and events, public events by Nigel Farage and his Reform Party.
Yeah.
So I just don't get it. If we live under the rule of law, if racism has happened, you have the right channels to report it.
The wonderful thing about racism is you can allege it against people, can't you, just with no evidence at all, just on the vague sense, the sort of smoke that surrounds them. There are people, the harder people than Farage to pin it on, that frankly get it, you know. I mean, I'm not saying that any stain does adhere to Farage, but obviously here's a lot of his campaigning has been anti-immigration, and from there you can make a fairly short leap across to the, well, what exactly is it that you don't, you know. Yeah. But it is just fantastic how these allegations can be thrown around, as we all know.
I suppose it was made worse by the thing that happened just before the election. It's mentioned in the article. The Georgie David, she was the one who stood down as a candidate, saying they're all racist.
Yes.
And the Reform defence was, well, she couldn't have met all of them, which feels like the wrong tactic. I wouldn't have gone that way. But they accused her of being a Tory plant. Look again at the Tories. Do you think they could have orchestrated that level of subterfuge, that Trojan horse?
I don't know for sure, but there were some extraordinarily suspicious, dodgy tricks being played against Reform. I think that whole business with the Channel 4 expose of the actor with the rough voice, where he's got a video where he goes, well, I can also do this voice, or I come across as a bit of a wrong un, do you know what I mean? And then there he is on concealed camera going, yeah, let's go and do some barracking. I'll tell you what, I'd have them all shot. Just like, I don't know if that, I'm not saying it was the Conservative Party or indeed any political party, but there was definitely some orchestrated attempt to undermine their credibility, I think.
He raised his spotlight profile quite a bit, so maybe he was a self
Do you think he's doing, what is that thing called where you can, you're 50 quid and you can address somebody's birthday party now?
Like Cameo.
Cameo, that's
I'm available.
He'll be popular in certain circles. Anyway, Steve, Macron's party has